Yeah, this tower definitely needed buffing. It's way too weak. So some pretty cool changes just got added to the engineer, the Sentry Champion, and one of them is a bit of a buff. The damage from the Sentry Champion's sentries went from 2 to 3, and also the placement of the sentries has now been updated, so every time he places a sentry, the sentry will always be placed within 20% of its range to the track. So now, why did they do this? Why would they buff that? Because in at least my circles, the late game community, we know that tower as, you know, a god tier tower, so did it really need to be buffed? Well, if we take a look at what Ninja Kiwi said in the update notes, it basically said that, well, it is very strong when it is buffed, but not when it isn't, and that makes a whole lot of sense. Going from 2 to 3 damage isn't gonna make a ton of difference when it's super buffed, because then you already have so much damage added anyway, so it's not gonna... Don't expect it to get like 50 rounds further when super buffed because of this change. But without a lot of support, they're saying that it's really lacking a lot of strength, and that sounds pretty reasonable because I don't know about you guys, but I never use this tower outside of like super buffing challenges and late game. Have you ever used it in Chimps mode? Let's go ahead and remove this, and we're gonna place an NG right... oh. If I give this guy range, will he be able to reach? I sure hope so. Well, actually, he doesn't really need to, because he's gonna be placing sentries, and that really would... you know, that's all that matters, really. Right, so we place him smack in the center, and oh, look at that. That is so satisfying. So we're playing on a map in which we can really, you know, make some pretty good use of the sentry explosion damage, because the sentries, when you don't buff them at all, they shoot 15 times per second, and now they do 3 instead of 2 damage. But they also explode after a couple of seconds, dealing 100 damage with 50 pierce, or 70 pierce if you choose the bottom cross path instead. As for the regular shots coming from the sentries, when you get the Sentry Champion, they have 5 pierce or 7 with the bottom path, so some decent extra pierce there as well if you choose the bottom path. So this is what they mean here. All the sentries will always spawn such that they are within 20% of their range to the track, so they would not be able to spawn very far away from the track. If you, for example, placed them right here, they would never be able to spawn over here, unless you gave a whole lot of buffs so that these guys have like an incredibly large range. Well, then they would be able to spawn pretty far away from the track. But on this map with this placement, we should be able to make really good use of the explosion damage, and no matter where he places them, it's gonna be pretty good. Obviously, towards the center here is better than over here, but oh. Alright, faster engineering. Places down more sentries and increase the attack speed of them as well. And this one we don't have any use for as of now. So I legit think this is the first time I'm ever using this tower in Chimps mode, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how strong it is in a regular game. Oh, and we also have Geraldo. That's a pretty... you know, I kind of forgot about the whole hero thing. But whatever. Geraldo's items isn't gonna be like huge. We're gonna apply the sharpening stone to give him a little bit of extra pierce. Unfortunately, it doesn't give any extra damage now, the upgraded version, which just sucks. I thought that was an amazing utility. I mean, yeah, Geraldo is very strong, yada yada, but what is this, bro? Something like this to buff him, and then we can also block a little bit of spawns towards this area, get more towards this area. So obviously, better placing him on this side than on this side. And I also want to place him high up enough so that he can attack the leads. So something like that. Set him to strong. So I'm not necessarily going for a 2 megapops challenge. Not necessarily going that hard, but almost. Alright, let's get the sentry expert now, so it spawns different types of sentries. I can take down all types of bloons. We're also gonna get a village for this guy eventually, which is good. We can place that right here and, you know, block some more spawns, and we're dead again. And we will be in Moab territory pretty soon, so I'm just gonna go ahead and grab this upgrade. Not sure if it's gonna be able to deal with round 40 on its own still, but with a couple of buffs perhaps. Alright, let's go ahead and get Berserker Brew as well, and see if we can give this guy a shot at taking down the Moab. Let's see here. Yeah, looking pretty good actually. Those lasers doing work. And we do have one freeze still on the map. Oh, it despawned, but we're good. This tower, the Sentry Expert, is actually not bad, dude. It is actually not bad. I kind of like it. Maybe I should have placed this village a bit higher up and then just placed a second village. You know, I kind of want to block some more spawns over here and have more spawns towards this area. But it is doing pretty decent now, actually. Nothing seems to be spawning in between these two towers right here. So I think I may have this area blocked off, and then I could place something more here to block this off, so it only spawns like right here. That would be really good. Right, how much is this upgrade exactly? Almost 35,000. Oh, a lot of purples here. That's gonna block a bunch of the shots from a couple of these sentries. Now we're spawning a whole lot of red ones though. Yeah, we're gonna need something more here. Alright, I fold. Alright, so I wanna get this up to tier 3 middle path so we can get the MIB, damage everything. Then I want to get probably another village or something to block this off, and then something after that. Haven't thought any further. Yeah, 63 is definitely not a problem for this tower, assuming, I mean, look at that. If you time an explosion, look, an entire wave is just obliterated. Yeah, like, and the Pierce is definitely good enough for 63. Question is like, what about rounds 98 or something like that? Now let's go ahead and get the MIB. There we go. So now no purples will be a problem. And what more? Probably get an overclock somewhere over here in this corner, I guess. I'm not applying like the overclock or anything either, because again, the point of this is kind of to see how strong this guy is without a lot of buffs. And this does not qualify as a lot of buffs. Like a jungle drums and a stronger stim you get for like every tower. So, but it is really important that the track laps over itself at least once, because these guys, while they are good at taking down, you know, mob class balloons, if look at how many Cerams just sneaks on by. But as long as it loops back at least once, so that these guys can have a chance to explode over them, then you're good. Okay, now we're getting into the tough rounds though. Now it's probably gonna start struggling a bit. Yeah, I doubt this round is gonna work out. Oh my god, dude. Some of them were getting sniped there, but it wasn't enough. Alright, I kind of want to block off this spawn, so how about we put a Moab glue right there. Alright, that a little bit of extra help did make the difference there. This is looking pretty good. You do notice some of its peers getting capped here and there. It does take it down though. Nice. Alright, can't deal with 96 here. Alright, so it is struggling here in the last couple of rounds, which it ought to do, because if it took it all down without any buffs, that would be pretty OP. Alright, so let's get the call to arms, and I mean, why not the homeland defense as well? Maybe get the relentless glue as well later. Yeah, look at all this chasing. It is not good. Okay, so instead of using the overclock, we're just gonna go ahead and use the homeland. That will, of course, be enough. Oh, yeah. Dude, double the attack speed, double the pierce, and this tower turns into a monster. The good thing about like homeland and buffing this tower is that when the buff runs out, it's not truly out, because of course you still have all the sentries that have spawned because of it. Because I think, as most people know, buffing the attack speed of this tower affects how fast the towers attack and how fast he places out the sentries. Which is why this tower is like one of the strongest in the game when super buffed. Round 98, I mean, I'll give it one go without applying any more buffs, but it's obviously not gonna work. Getting pierce capped hard. With using homeland, we want to use it pretty early in the round, let's say about now. That ought to... Yeah, oh my god. Dude, it just keeps shocking me every time, the difference that it makes. Round 99, fortified DDTs. Yeah, look at that. All the sentries from the homeland previously. Alright, 100. Let's see what it does without any buffs here. Might stand a chance, actually. Yeah, so overall I am pretty impressed. But again, you do need a track that overlaps. Otherwise it becomes a totally different thing. And it won't be nearly as good. And it does take out around 100 without any buffs. Just barely. Oh my god, I speak too soon all the time. Alright, I'll just do this then. And I'll take it out in 5 seconds. A long 5 seconds. If you count slowly, that's about 5 seconds. There we go. I really like the tower as a whole, and judging from this, obviously it does seem to be quite good, both the tier 4 and the tier 5 without applying a lot of buffs, but again, how would it fare on a harder map? But also, not every tower is meant to be used for something like Bloody Puddles, you know? Anyway, subscribe and stay tuned for more update videos, and I'll see you in the next one.